Hi everybody, welcome back. I thought I would do something different and do a little developer log video, developer diary for Bulwark. I am waiting for some of the voice recorders by Chris Lines and Mikey Goodman to come in. That's the actor that did the advisor before, and you can already try out the new tutorial I made on the evolving demo, but the voices are a placeholder done by community manager Gary from Wired Productions, who sounds awesome as it is. But I have a few moments. I just finished some major features, which I'll hopefully show to you as well. And, just maybe dive into a little bit of game development, if it were. So let's do that and switch to this. So I've opened up Unity, which is the engine I'm developing in it. And I've been developing the Falconeer in as well. Let's give you a small tour. On the left is the hierarchy of my game, of Bulwark. And if we look at the scene, there's an entire static open world. People ask me, how do I do it? There isn't game streaming or streaming data if you're an indie dev. Unity does this pretty well. I just chucked in a buttload of objects, and that makes the entire 5x5 square kilometer, or not square, 10 by 10 kilometer open world. And you can see the mall going up here. And this is also the image you see in the world map. When that's generated, it's just a camera from above, not with these fog. Can I turn that off? No, I'm playing the game, so the atmospherics are there. This is all my custom shader stuff. So that is and that's what you see here. So there's in the section it's the world. There's also I don't use prefabs. If you're an indie dev, you go, huh? When you work by yourself, you want less and less complexity. You want to keep things as simple as possible. And prefabs, this nested. Which are the nested, pre-built little prefabs, prefabricated elements of your game, which get loaded dynamically and unloaded, and you can change them, and they can be nested now, or for the last few years. I just don't do it. I don't have a lot of memory usage because I don't use textures in the game by and large, except for the font and some very specific stuff, and I generate those. So swapping things in and out is not really required. All the little buildings in the game, if I select one here, are just individual bits and pieces. Even, you can see it in the hierarchy here. This is the repository of the game. It's all copied from a central. I just instanced the items from a central repo of deactivated objects. For fun, I can turn one off and then the game will break. But let's say that's the lighthouse. If I turn it on, I don't know what's going to happen. If I turn on, where's the constructor? So I have to.
Access to resources.
So it just appears. So this is one building, and if I turn it, it has on the right. You see under my face. I'll throw it. There's a bunch of scripts, and there's a data container, and there's a constructor. And if I turn it on, it'll deconstruct it and remove it. I've now deleted it, so that's going to break the game. But it's all these bits and pieces. The same, every thing you see is its own hierarchy that just gets copied in. I'm going to turn off the volume on the game. For instance, if you go to where we were in just a second ago. So everything is, this is what it looks like inside the editor. Well, pretty decent. You can see some of the effects don't work anymore because they only work in the camera view. But you can see on the left, there's a repository of towers. Everything works in towers. Or if you've played the demo, you figure it out. It's towers being connected and then little foundations being pulled out of the towers. So here is a tower, which is not a good example. Here's just a basic tower. If I open it up, It has space for floors, additional floors going up, balconies, which are all those things that jutting out, and then there's space for walls. And the walls has a parent, and then a wall parent, if I destatify, is just this. It's a wall that was created based on the slope of the world. It just contains of tiny little sections. Look, there's a little modular section. There's another little modular section. There's another little modular section. And what happens, I've just got an algorithm that determines based on flow, I need a stairway down. Oh, the next bit is even steeper. It's going to go, I need something even more steep down. It's in the water, so it's intersecting something. We might need a little bridge. So it's just sticking those bits on the right height and copying them. That's all my algorithm is this, and I need, and you can see the naming. There's lots of distances and lots of, I don't know. There's about 15 different pieces. It's not that bad, maybe 10 different pieces for an average wall. And then I have that for wood, iron, and stone types of walls. So it's a relatively simple system in that sense. And then, a walkway itself will say, well, I have, if you see in the script on the right, which is beneath my name there, but beneath my face. If I move that out, can I move that out? You will see it has a start. Is this a wall then, which is connected to a start tower and end tower, the components, so they don't have to, I create these when I make the wall, and then they always have the data, and I don't have to do get component, because that's hella slow in any game, so never do get component, always store your stuff somewhere. I don't know if this is the proper way, but this wall is finished. Then you have stuff like, is it a breakwater? So I do interesting stuff with walls. If I were to create a wall, let's see if we can force it. So let's create a new wall. And it's on the edge between this dark, the deeper water and the narrow water, the shallow water. It will turn into a different wall from going in the inside. See, this is a regular wooden walkway jetty, but if it's on the border between deep and shallow water, it becomes what I'm calling a breakwater wall, and it will tell the inhabitants to build their houses, which are built alongside of the wall, on the higher side of that of the sandbank, basically. And that works. That logic makes sure that if you were built to encompass the entire sandbank, shallow water with a little breakwater, people will safely build besides it. And that looks more realistic. And then if we go up, it does the same thing normally for when you have stone stuff. It will tell inhabitants to prefer building on the higher side. Apparently not always. Well, that's excellent. Not showing it here. But so there's a little logic, and I don't know exactly why. Maybe because it touched water there, and then it says, that's fine, then it's shallow water. But on the whole, it should try to build the inhabitants prefer higher sides of walls, so that you can have basically a fortress, and maybe I need to go up to iron, style feeling that has inhabitants locked in from little walkways from the walls. And just like in medieval, that some people prefer to live outside, but a lot of people would prefer to live inside. And this is maybe a bad example of a rock face. But here you see it working quite well. People are living on the inside, on the safer side. And it's the little algorithmic touches that hopefully make the world sort of come alive. Let me move the inspector somewhere else. So that's a little bit on that. And then, of course, if you add a balcony or a foundation, and these triangle pie-shaped pieces are interesting. So you can all see the square ones. It's just one model being built, and those have little nodes on top of them. So let's see if I can find some balconies. Let's see if I can select that tower. That is that one. It has a bunch of balconies, and those balconies have little nodes on them that tell you where a house could be spotted, could be built. And then there's a system when the house builder just runs through all the nodes in the system every second and says, let's build a new house. And then it looks down? Is it obstructed? Is it higher, lower? Is there a rock overhang on top of it? And then plops it on the right height. But the position is fixed to the balcony, as were. And we can look underneath how messy Thomas has developed this. You can see stuff just sticks down really deep. Proper programmers would end it and make it all procedural meshes. I just made everything really tall. And then the fun thing is we go to the game. If we go somewhere higher, let's go see if we can fake it. Do we have stone? And if we can get one of those triangles to come up, we can see how those are made. Oh, there you go. So, go to the scene. If you wonder why you need to have you slowly turn into me or get frustrated with the controls, is because I am very used to 3D and doing this instead of this. But rotating and orbiting is basically all you do when you're creating anything in 3D. So hence the game does a lot of orbiting rather than using, sort of a edge scrolling mentality. And usually you would do that by focusing on something and then snapping the camera to that and then orbiting. That's 3D modeling in a nutshell. And in a sense, some of the mechanics and interactions of Bulwark are about 3D modeling. And you can see if we would turn on wireframe views, what I wanted to show. It's built different floors of this, and it's built another one underneath it, because it just did a test and say, wow, is it entirely safe to end it here, or would some of the pillars still be floating? And then it will check, okay, fuck, let's add one underneath, and it stops at a certain depth. So there's lots of messy code going on there, which looks, it looks okay when you're a gamer. Doesn't look okay if you break the illusion. It's all incredibly messy. The same with walls. The walls, that looks like it's completely, procedurally super smart. And I've seen YouTubers go, this is amazing. It's just stuff. If we're here, that's some of the stuff. You can see it's just, this is a wall. It's just really, we can grab the little bit. Where's my inspector panel? I moved my inspector panel. Let's chuck that back where it belongs. Look, it's just really tall. So it's just really, really tall. So wherever I stick it, it'll sort of make sense if it were this or this. So the algorithm isn't that, how do you call it? Precise. So it'll do this. It realizes it can't finish it at that height. I have no walkway there. Okay, start here. And you get these things, which looks kind of interesting. But it's just, at the very lowest part, I just added something to this ending thingy, knowing that this would occur and it needed to look interesting. And 99% of times that's hidden, but you pull it out and suddenly in some situations it will be visible and it looks quite nice. So that's a little bit of how the procedural stuff. Some of the stuff I've been working on, which is cool to talk about, is I've been working on the political system. So in the game, normally you start off as the Free House, which is sort of the civilian, neutral, refugee faction, and you can get in line and you can find these outposts or refugees from the Imperium, from the Mancers, the pirates, and they will join your settlement, and you can drop their outpost, and they will provide workers, and they will influence your settlement. So I don't want this one, because I want to get one of the more aggressive factions. The Free House are quite peaceful, because some of the new stuff has to do with combat. And one thing that's also coming in the next update is this little marker. So the compass has a few more things up its sleeve. It can now show you these random events, so they can found them easier. I not want you. I want some Imperial or Mancer stuff to happen. It also shows you any of the boats nearby. So I can fast travel through the map, already good at that. But now I can also right mouse click and schedule the destination. So it will now go where I clicked on the map, which was where the boat was. And the boat's already sailed off a bit. This is also not someone I want for to show you this. I don't want you. You're a free house. So that's those are just two of the new features. And maybe I need to cheat a little bit and give myself some commanders. And I don't know which ones I'd want. 17, 17, 16. It's just a list I'm editing here. You can't see it. Maybe I'll scroll down. It's just an list of the various captains. Each one has a unique number, so I'll add just a bunch. And then we'll see if I can assign some commanders that are factionalized. No, don't want you. Don't want you. I got the wrong ones. 7, I think, or 8, or 18, maybe. And 20, maybe. Let's find some factional. We'll go Imperial. That'll be fun. So we get Imperial Commander. I will also go to my save file and give myself some outposts. Where's my inspector? So this is a custom sort of scriptable object, which is also my save file, because that's weird, but it works. So I can add myself some droppable outposts, and I'll give them all out a bunch just to up the. Oh no, that's the wrong ones. Oh yeah, here. So I'll remove this and get rid of every trace of free house and replace with aggressive Imperials, which will hopefully get into a fight with. Come on. Oh. And I gave myself an error because I've been cheating. What's the error? Oh. Something broke. But let's see if I'm already... okay, so just by adding this outpost and that giant... because the bigger they are... but I need some people. So... up. The more powerful the commander, the more bigger their political influence, which you can, I think, if I see here, you can see it's influenced by this building's influence on the politics is quite severe. This one is much smaller, and it's turned into a decent, how do you call it? Imperial influence. I need to also make my settlements substantially larger for it to... here it says I'm getting a text message, which is also new. Yeah, okay, so we turned the dominant faction of our settlement. We are now Imperial. And what I'm developing now is that if we wait long enough, if we fly out, people will be hostile towards us who have a historical grudge with the Imperials. The refugee stuff will still be happening. So the pirate refugee event, I always had a fun hostile thing. I can still have them on board, but it's actually not an example of what I meant. Because you always need to... I always want anybody to change the political landscape of their session. So if you don't like the Imperials, you just remove them, remove their influence. But let's destroy these guys first. I've rebalanced some of the combat, so you die easier, but it's a little bit more satisfying. I hope it works, because I've been fixing... they're gone. Yes, destroy them. Okay, so let's see if we can find some... Oh, and there's also now combat is also shown on the map where combat has been, and it's also shown on your compass. So those are things where I'm working to add more feedback to the game, and stuff like that. There are also a bunch of new captains. Is it these guys? Who are... No, I don't want any pirates. Let's find out and get into a proper fight. What will happen if I wait long enough? If because we are now an Imperial set, is some pirates will start to raid us. And basically the ships that would come up, sail up to you, hey, can I work for you, are now hostile to you and will attack you, allowing for a little bit of combat fun. And what else will happen is that events, random encounters, which used to be friendly, will now go aggro automatically because they just don't like you anymore. More Imperials. Yeah, we'll have you because we're already Imperials buddies. Yes, so even more Imperial. But the you have to wait. It doesn't happen a lot because I've toned it down a little bit. The next thing I'm working on is giving you a like a beacon of like an Imperial beacon, and that will trigger, say, well, I'm fully Imperial now, and then you get a lot more attacks. So there's a little choice in there. If you just like the architecture, like the chill gameplay, there's a choice moment where you build something that declares, come at me with what you got, and people will. And then you can demolish that for a little bit if you, how do you want it? If you don't want to combat anymore. I'm waiting for a raid, which I can maybe also fake, because why not? Let's go to my little storytelling manager, and let's say we want to debug the next captain, and we'll make it a pirate lord, which definitely doesn't like. So this is this was another friendly captain, which we don't need at the moment. But then the next one will definitely be hostile because I just use my debug power. Here's another error. So that's why this this update isn't live yet. It's a little bit more involved, and thus it is has some bugs, which I will fix. Let's see what happens now. I did also mess up a bit in this play session. I see. There's now a little blinking island of combat, and there is a red ship coming towards our settlement. What we can do is just attack it, because we've got quite a good force accompanying your little surveyor. Or we can also, let's see if we have some resources coming in here. We don't have any stone, but we could, maybe... If we get some stone, can you move in some stone? See if we can... stone. We can maybe get some guns up and running. Is it there yet? It's not there yet. So we have some time where we can make some defenses and stuff. Well, let's just fly. It's taking too long. It's probably bugged that it's not moving. Let's use our little map. Oh, I have to be in the fly mode if I want to do the... And let's take down this, whatever this raid is, even though it's giving me errors at the bottom. These are all errors. Game development stuff. So there's a hostile ship trying to hostile pirate raid, and it's getting absolutely slammed by my airborne forces, and he's gone. So that is what I'm working on now, is to have these little encounters happen where you, surface threat neutralize, where you have a little bit of combat coming at your settlement. And if you don't want to fly off with your forces and deal with it, you will have to build a little defensive fortress in where you think they're coming from. And there's some logical places where the guys always sail in, so you can have choke points and build a fortress there that deals with it themselves. That is sort of the fun of, it's called Bulwark, so there's something to defend. That's what I'm working on. I have a bunch of errors in front of me, so I'll be getting busy to fix those and not to talking to the camera. Oh, I am not super good at this, but I hope you enjoyed a little look at what I do in the engine. And if you want more of that, just leave a, how do you call it, comment. There's lots to see, lots of how I do graphics and stuff. But I haven't done any of these in a long time. And yeah, share a like, blah, 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 all that stuff.